to go into the kitchen. They're not.
Hey everyone, it's Norva here, and I would like for somebody to let me know if you could see me properly. I'm trying to check on my screen as well, but if you could see the chat area and you just let me know in there, yep, we could see you loud and clear, that would be really handy. Let me double check. Clear, that would be really handy. Yeah. Let me double check. Good. Clear, right. That would be really handy. Yeah. Good. So we're ready. Lady Charmaine. You're on mute. Your mute is on. Mute.
Right, there we go. Okay. I'm pressing away.
Yes, yeah. So,
okay. Hi.
yes, guys, I know we're live and you all could see me. I'm happy about that. It's Nova here with my partner in crime for the My Honey and Money Marriage Seminar coming up in just one day to go, Charmaine.
Yeah, I know. Panic.
Panic filled with excitement.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we are really excited to be here. We want to really share with you all a little snippet, a taste of what people would be getting at the seminar, because we know we'll be here for 45 minutes. What we could spend this time is absolutely nothing compared to what people will be getting from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. But let's kind of get into the juicy bit. First, we share a little bit about ourselves and then get into the content, looking really at money and how couples could deal with money in a way that would empower not just one, but the both parties, and so that you all could move forward together. So for those of you all who don't know me, as I said, my name is Norva Semoy Abiona. I'm a relationship change expert. I am a best-selling author of the book Time to Go, Leaving Emotional Abuse and Other Forms of Abusive Relationships. And I have been doing relationship stuff for about 5 years. Yeah, it was just after I got over being sick that I really decided to pour myself into it more. Before that, I was doing it, but more on a casual, let's say free in my leisure time. But I have gone through an abusive relationship many years ago, which I successfully left, thank God. And I've now been married for 12 years, been with my husband for 15 years. We are very happy, not just saying happy, we are very, very happy. And a lot of things, the things that helped us really is deciding to look inwardly at ourselves and see what we need to do in order to grow and bring our best selves to the table. And so over the years, I've learned a lot about what a really bad relationship looks like and feels like, and what a great relationship looks and feels like as well. And I just feel, I know it's my passion and my calling to be able to help as much people as possible out there to live this sort of live in a loving relationship, a loving marriage, where you wake up every day and you feel excited. If you're in a relationship where every time you wake up, you're wondering if today is my last, my spouse is frustrating me so much, worse, they're being very abusive to you, then you need to start really doing some self-searching and see if the things that you are accepting, is it really serving you in the grand scheme of things? And if you have children, what impact is that having on your children? So that's a bit about me, and I'll allow Charmaine now to say a bit about herself, and yeah, then we'll move forward.
Okay. Hi. Can't quite top Nova's bio.
Thank God
That's right. We're all unique. So hi, I'm Charmaine. Charmaine Aline, depending on how you want to pronounce. I've heard Alini, Aline, Aleni, all sorts of things, but it's Aline. I am the author of, I've been forgetting my own author, but it's of the book. It was one of those that I had to get it right written, and I kept saying, right, I'm going to write it, I'm going to write it, and I haven't done it. So it's penny smart, pound foolish. I use penny smart. Basically, looking at my background in terms of money management. I had it in me to write a book some time ago, but last year it was kind of like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it now. So it's one of those, just got it out there, smash words. It's there, it's out of me, it's in the public eye. It's my journey from going to having plenty to having nothing and back on the journey of being financially aware. So I'm coming from the point of view of living the intended life, in as much as we are not meant to be struggling in life. This earth that we're on is a resourceful place. It has plenty of abundance, but through experiences of life and things that we're taught, we kind of box ourselves in, and our belief system can be such that we may not think that we deserve to have what we have. So I'm looking at a case of, okay, let's unpick our thought patterns. Let's unpick our various ways of things that we've had growing up. And let's look at why you're not living the abundant life, why you're not living the intended life. And so I'm all for eradicating poverty in our mindset, first of all, because it's all about your personal mindset. It's all about you having that personal development, spending time on yourself and improving yourself. Because then if you're not as you should be, when you go into a relationship, you're really limiting yourself and that other person. So you should go in as a whole person. And finances is one of the biggest things that causes relationships to struggle. So I'm all about having a good life, an easy life. So I've joined with Norva. It's a pleasure to be able to join with Norva in her relationship change catalyst, to basically have just a snippet to say, come on, folks, we can do better.
Yeah.
And the community to rethink our habits.
Mm. So, I mean, it's just really clear. What you're saying is so true. When it comes to marriage, it's one of the foremost things that judges and mediators hear when it comes to divorce, about what is causing the conflict. Sadly, a lot of people, even when they're going through a situation where finances is a problem, they hardly share it with other people. And sometimes it's not that it's the lack of money, it's not having the understanding with your spouse. Tell me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Shaman.
Mm,
If you
mm,
don't have that kind of understanding with your spouse about how you all would handle the finances together, it just leads to doom and gloom. And when
mm,
you see that happening, if you can't have a conversation with your spouse
mm,
about
mm.
what is happening with the money, then you need to enlist some outside help. What do you think, Shamin?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But I mean, for me, a lot of it is just being honest with yourself, being honest with your partner, the transparency that is needed. The Bible talks about Adam and Eve, they were naked and not ashamed. So for me, a marriage should be a case of, any relationship which is intimate. You need to be able to say, look, you know what? Um, I've always had problems with spending, or I've always grown up with not having enough. So I've come to this stage where I need to have more than I need to have something. So you kind of hold on to things. And that can be sometimes childhood trauma, things that we've gone through. So it's a case of being transparent to say, look, I saw this great deal, couldn't help myself. I've just bought it. And how we're dealing with that is the communication that's needed within every relationship, in every household.
So true. So true. I mean, another big issue, I believe, which underpins the whole spending issue, is communication. Because if you don't have a great um, communication with your spouse, then how could you talk about money?
Mm, that's
And
it.
so it's very important that we look at that. And if you need to even take some classes on how to communicate effectively, then I suggest you go and do it, because in the long run, it would not just be, you're not trying to do something to just make your spouse feel better. Anything that you learn would benefit you in the short and the long term, as well as if you're looking at it for the good of the family, the good of the household, then at the end of the day, hopefully everybody will win. And if everybody don't win, at least you would win from the knowledge that you gain.
Yeah.
So, Shamin,
Hmm.
I wanted to let's kind of get into some big issues that people face when it comes to finance and stuff as well. So
Mm.
I'll throw out a scenario.
Mm.
The both spouse like to spend, but they're criticizing each other about their spending habits.
Mm.
What do you think the big underlying issue is there, really?
They're still living as single people. I think there's still an element where, yes, they're married, they've got the ring, they've got the certificate, but they're still in their mind and their money. This is mine. Um, I think if they're able to come to the point where, okay, let's look at both bank statements. Let's look at who really is the spender and what the money is being spent on. You may have one partner who pays the majority of the bills, and the other partner saying, well, okay, I've paid all the bills and I want to buy myself a new pair of trainers or a new jacket. And the other may be saying, well, how can you afford that? Whereas the other partner may do all the spending in terms of, okay, I see a nice pair of shoes, I'm going to buy it. I see a new gadget, I'm going to go and buy it. If the two have had an agreed spend, if they've agreed at the very beginning, okay, I'll spend on whatever we want, whether it's hair, nails, barbershop, whatever. If they've had an agreed spend amount per month, you shouldn't, if you're being honest with each other, shouldn't have those conflicts and those issues. If you're going to say, well, okay, I want to go on holiday with the girls, I think big spends like that should be agreed.
True.
You know, okay, I'm going to go a weekend for a bachelor party. Again, agreed spending. Either where you have said, okay, we've had one account and both our salaries are then paid into separate accounts, but we then have the one account to put the money in. You both know then that that covers everything to do with the household, everything to do with both of you. And whatever's left over, you can do with as you please. However, you may have one who says, well, you know, I'm not spending anything this month because I'm saving it for something else. And then the other will say, well, actually, I've overspent, you know, can you sub me? There may be conflict there. But if you're coming from a agreed vantage point of saying, what is ours? I then think there's a shift in the mindset because some
Mm,
couples, yeah, they may decide, well, you know, I'm keeping my money. What's mine is mine. What's his is mine. What's mine is mine. What's hers is mine. That I think can cause conflict where you
true.
have two people coming together and say, well, I don't know, rather than having one salary, I've now got double the amount. I can spend double. That to me causes conflict if you don't have an agreed spend, an agreed budget to say, right, we're going to save for a family holiday or we're going to save for a holiday for a particular destination. One of us is going, one of us is not.
Mm.
That I think should be agreed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, what would you say for no matter what type of financial issues people have?
Hmm.
Is there like an overall first step you believe that people should take in order to move forward in their finances?
Be at the point where you take accountability for your own spending. Be accountable. Come to the point and say, look, just lay your cards on the table. Look at your credit card statements. What are you spending money on? Are you spending money on buying lunches for everybody in the office most days of the week? Are you spending on credit cards that your spouse doesn't even know you have? You know, what are you doing? Just get all the statements out, have them out. Look at what you've been spending the last month, the last 6 months, the last 12 months. And you yourself look to see where your money is going. Are
Mm,
you the one that's always buying the gifts for friends that you don't even know? Do you have, for example, an office where the turnover is high and everybody has a little kitty and they put money in? And then you're saying, well, I'm going to be the big spender. I'm going to put £5 in. Everybody else has put like two or three. Is it just a show off thing? So be honest. And I think it helps if you're being, as I keep saying, be transparent. Be transparent, be accountable, and say, well, actually, I can't resist a bargain. I can't resist seeing a yellow label on the shelves. Just be honest.
You know, that the point that you brought there is a really good one, because I tell people that when it comes to spending, a lot of people think one is a saver and one is a spender. But
Mm,
there's some people who the motivation for them could just be they're so charitable that they like to give to others.
mm,
And they neglect themselves, they neglect their family, just so that they could reach out and touch somebody, so to say. But even with that, as you rightfully said, if you and your spouse don't agree on how much you should be spending, how much you should be putting out, on a monthly or weekly basis towards these things, then sorry to say, you're being very selfish. In fact, I'll put it another way. I believe that that we do, everything that we do is self-serving in nature. It
mhm,
doesn't mean it's selfish, but it's self-serving. And let me explain by giving some scenarios. So if you give because you are a charitable person, what do you get in return for giving?
mm,
Some people, it might just be that they enjoy the feeling that they get of, I've done something good for somebody, but it's because you feel good, that's why you do it.
mm,
People who go to church and they lift up their hands and praise God and stuff, why do you do it? Again, because you feel good. Now let's look at it from the other side. People who decide, I'm going to tell my spouse exactly what I think of them at this point in time because they've just gotten me so annoyed, because of the way it makes you feel. So truth be told,
mm,
it's self-serving, every single thing.
mm,
And so
mm,
you have to be careful that with
mm,
the self-serving nature that we all have, that you don't end up acting very selfish in the things that you're doing and saying behind the scenes, but in front of people, you're kind of showing the front of, what, I just like helping people and my spouse don't like
mm,
that. And you're
mm,
making your spouse look as though they're a bad person, when they might just be somebody who is trying to say, listen, if we look at what we have as a whole, we are really stretching beyond the point where, as at some point in time, if we continue like this, we would need charitable help ourselves.
mm.
And so it doesn't matter how much you love doing it, you have to be careful. I know that was a mouthful, Charmin, but what do you have
Yeah.
to say about that?
Well, I would definitely back that up by saying it's not even a case of you being self-serving. It goes back to childhood. Are you looking for acceptance? So is it a case of you spending big, but you have a small budget? You know, Moby taste with champagne. Was it champagne taste with Moby pocket? Something like along those lines. The West Indian saying that we have. You like the taste of champagne, but you can only afford Moby. And so it's a case of, is it that because of you having that issues of acceptance as a childhood,
Mm,
that you want people to accept you and see you as a generous giver? Are you doing it to have friends, that they're only good time friends? So
yeah,
you really need to look at your reasons behind your spending. You need
yeah,
to look at your reasons behind why you would jeopardize your relationship with someone who's supposed to be your life partner,
yes,
to the point where you're saying, well, actually, I know this particular person's a bit of a freeloader, but I feel good giving to them.
yes,
Well, is it because you want that freeloader in your life because it makes you feel like, well, actually, I'm better than them because they can't afford it and I can? Where
mm,
actually they probably got more than you, but they just know how to hold on to things and, keep what they can and catch what they can't.
yes,
So it's a case of you really need to look at those behaviors from way back when
yeah,
and look at why you feel necessary to give to the fault,
mm,
where you're giving everything away and it's causing conflict within the home.
yes, yeah. So
So,
true. I wrote about it in my book, Plugin, Time to Go,
hmm
Leaving Emotional Abuse and Other Forms of Abusive Relationship. You can check it out on Amazon. But the way I termed it was, we have nature, nurture, and choice.
mm,
Nature is the things that we're born with, the things that's inherent to us, or genes, the way
mm,
our mother did things and our grandmother, and we're doing it similar, the way our father
mm,
did things, and we find ourselves doing things similar to him. But then there's also nurture, the environment that we grew up in and the things that we're taken from, not just grow up, because some people, they start from the point of some big event or something happen, and big event just mean mentally they see it
Mm,
as something big. So
mm,
for me, I know a lot of things changed after I got sick. So
mm,
you start looking at life differently. Some people, it doesn't take as big a thing as that, but something could cause them to just start this, the way they do things, all of a sudden they've changed.
mm,
Sometimes it's the entrance of knowledge, but in any case, where I'm saying that nurture the people that were wrong, the information that we're taking in all the time, that affects the things that we do as well. So I've
mm,
spoken now about one, what you're born with and what is inherent to you, and then two, the environment that you're in. But then the third one, no matter what you're born with or what is inherent to you, or what you grew up hearing, learning, listening to, at the end of the day, the choice is yours.
mm, mhm,
You, no matter what, you choose, and you have to take 100% responsibility. Playing the blame game on everybody else when you know in your heart that you are the one doing certain things and saying certain things, it's not helping you.
mm,
So if you decide I'm going to spend all the money, and then you decide, you know what, I'm spending it because he annoyed me, and so I want to pay back, I'm going to pay her back for what she's done, you're hurting yourself, because
mm.
you need to get that sorted instead of finishing up all your money and then you end up in a worse position.
It's true. But you have to also think if there are children involved, you have to look at your behavior and how that is affecting the children because we do have learned behaviors
Yeah.
and children are very impressionable between the ages of 0 to 6. They will just take in information and they literally, without question, will take on what you say. If you said red is blue and green is pink, they will believe you.
Yes. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they get to the ages of 7, that's when they start questioning. Well, you said it was blue, you said it was green, you said. They start to question, they start to filter things. But that impression from 0 to 6 has already been marked. So from 7, they think, well, you're a liar because you told me that was pink and that was blue, and it's not.
Mm.
So we have to also look at behaviors in as much as if there are always arguments about money, children will then grow up with that subconscious belief that actually this thing called money is a bad thing.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
thing called money caused mommy and daddy not to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to really look at, and my neighbor, bless her, she says, little donkeys have big ears. And when we think children are not listening, they're hearing the slightest of things.
True.
So even if they're not fully understanding, they can pick up and perceive the emotional atmosphere that's going on.
Yes.
Are you and mommy fighting? No, we're not fighting. Oh, but why are you shouting? We're not shouting. Or they'll walk into a room, oh, something's wrong. And they'll start acting up because they're thinking, well, if I misbehave, it will take the pressure from mommy and daddy because they're not friends and I want them to be friends. So it's better they tell me off than be fighting with each other. So
That's
we really need to look at our behaviors ourselves and how we are towards our spouses because it does affect the children. Even if you have nieces and nephews, they'll come and they'll visit, they will see, okay, I don't want to go to auntie's house because there's always a bad atmosphere.
yeah.
Children want to be where there's love. They want to be where there's laughter and happiness because that's how they're carefree beings.
Yes.
But if we are creating an atmosphere of stress, that child will then pick up on that stress and not even realize that maybe they're 30, 40, or maybe they come to a teenager
Mm.
where they're realizing, actually, I'm not sure what the thing about money, that they've got it, and then they end up spending it on foolishness because if they haven't got it, that's not causing a problem
Yeah. Yeah.
because
That's
they've
true.
grown up thinking, actually, having this is going to cause me a problem. Let
Yeah.
me just spend it or give it away or just push it somewhere in a box and forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really good stuff that you're saying there. I want to just pause a second because I noticed that we have
Oh,
the
yes.
Vanessa McLean.
Oh, Vanessa.
All I can see is a glowing light. So I hope she's
Yes.
body and in spirit and not just light. And
The
Vanessa, you
glowing
want to come
light.
in and say, hello, you're on mute.
She did what I did earlier.
While she's coming on, I wanted
Mm,
to touch as well about something that you say about children from 0 to 6. There's two,
mm,
the two times that in a human's life where they make big changes.
mm.
As you say, 0 to 6 is the first one, and
Yeah,
then the adolescent stage where
yeah.
crossing over from
To
childhood into,
teenage.
yeah,
Yeah.
in
Actually, I'm talking about that on Saturday. So come along and hear. There are four brain waves that we tap into. So I'll
yeah.
be touching on those four types.
Yes,
Mm,
yeah. And so we have to be very careful because sometimes we begin to think that, you know what, by the time they get to teenager, they have their own mind and blah, blah, blah. But they're still very impressionable as teenagers as well, looking at what's happening, taking in things and making some decisions. Vanessa, can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Yes.
excellent.
And we could hear you. You're soft, but we could hear you. So you want to say hello?
Hi, listen, I'm going to call you back because I'm where I am. It's very, very noisy. So I'll
Okay.
call in a few minutes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, we just carry on. Yeah, yes, Shaman. So as I was saying, as we were talking about money and stuff, it just shows that when it comes to finance and money matters, even whether you're married or not, it affects, so it's like really intertwined. A lot of different things kind of fall into other things. So if you are not careful with your communication, it affects the finance, it affects the children, then it affects you at work. Let's kind of touch on that one because
Mm,
a lot of times people think I could separate what's going on at home from what's happening at work. And if you have financial issues at home, tell me from your own perspective as an expert in finance and family budgeting and stuff.
mm.
Sorry, what, how do you think that could affect people, husbands and wives, when they go out into the corporate world?
I see that in multiple ways, and I'm thinking of the various jobs I've had and the contract works I've had. You will find some that will just throw themselves into work to avoid being at home, working excessively long hours in an environment where overtime is not paid, but they feel, well, actually, I've got to do this, and being at work is a lot calmer, a lot easier, less stress than being home. For others, I would say that that budgeting thing, that, if I don't have to face it, it's easiest for me to be at work
Mm,
because I'm not hearing oh, this is broken, that's broken, little Billy needs new shoes, little Josephine has a party that she's going to, needs a new dress. Um, all these kind of, they're just away from it. It's just
yeah,
easier. So by the time they get in, everybody's half asleep and they can just, slip in and slip out.
yeah,
So I think that is one of the dangers
mm,
of it.
yeah,
But I also think it does affect work
yeah,
because you may have a situation whereby you're so stressed about money, your integrity at work, if money is around, your integrity may be in question because that's where embezzlement can sometimes take place.
mm,
Danger of that. There's
mm,
also the danger whereby you may go to your boss and ask for a pay rise, but your motivation for that pay rise is incorrect. You're not doing anything extra. You're not um, being a positive addition to the workforce in helping that business to grow. But because you're feeling that pressure from home, you're thinking, well, I need to ask my boss for a pay rise, or you're
mm,
demanding promotion whereby you haven't really got your own personal development in place to become that next level,
mm,
whether it's in management or the next grade up.
yeah,
So I think in that respect, it can be a danger where your attitude is incorrect.
mm,
And so your boss will say, well, actually, why am I increasing your salary when your productivity is low?
yes, yeah,
Why should we put you up for promotion when actually you're not a good influence on your colleagues around you? How can we actually promote you to be the boss, whether in this section or another section.
Yeah. So they end up
When
having,
you're saying,
sorry, I was going to say they end up having a kind of fraudster mentality. They're hoping that they don't,
yeah,
their boss and stuff don't find out one, the true motive, and that they really can't do what the work to match the rise that they're asking for in pay. Carry on.
correct. Yes. So that in any environment can cause even more stress, because then you feel like a failure.
Yes.
You're feeling, well, I'm a failure in my workplace. I'm going home. I'm a failure again. And if the relationship and the communication isn't as strong as it should be,
Mm.
then you've got failure all around. And we are very good at beating ourselves up in our heads, thinking negative thoughts.
Yes. Yeah. That's
So, yeah. And so you then get to the point where you may become irrational. What if I do the lottery, or if I play with scratch cards, or you don't want to win money quick?
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a sensible thing that you're doing, because you want to get this money quick to try and solve the problem.
Mm. Mm. And is you're doing all of it because you're trying to cover your tracks, when
Yeah.
all you need to do in the first place is not become a millionaire, but start communicating honestly with your
Mm,
spouse. Because if you all could have an honest communicate conversation about where you're at, then you could move forward. It's like when they talk about people who are alcoholics, the first thing they ask you to do is to say, my name is Jim and I
mhm,
am an alcoholic. No, I'm not
mhm.
saying all Jims are alcoholics.
No. Sorry, James.
But you get my point. My point is
Yeah.
this: listen, it all starts with coming together. If you're with a spouse and you are doing everything, it's one-sided, it's not marriage. Have you ever seen somebody using one hand to clap? Some people say, oh, yes, well, at least you could hit it on the wall. They don't call that clapping, they call that tapping.
Mhm,
So don't do
mhm,
something else and call it marriage.
mm,
Don't be in
mm,
a relationship with somebody just for namesake. You all have no conversations, no communication. You're angry with each other all the time, and you're calling it a marriage.
mm,
In the eyes of the world, because they see the years ticking by and you're putting things up. Oh, happy anniversary to my sweetie. I'm so glad I've had the best
mm,
3 years of my life. I've had the
mm,
best 15 years of my life. You've had the best 15 years of lies, the best 3 years of lies, because
mm,
you really do not have a relationship with your spouse. It
mm,
makes no sense. You're living
mm,
so
mm,
frustrated. So if you put your best foot forward in your marriage, if you have conversations with your spouse about your finance, and you notice that they, after a while, because you can't expect people to change overnight, but you're doing your best and that person is not changing at all, if it is not serving you in terms of that person doesn't value you, they're not showing that they respect you, love you, that they value your opinion, then first of all, go and seek somebody on the outside to kind of come in to help you all to move forward. If that doesn't work, then you need to start to think further afield. But bottom line is, it takes two people to make a good marriage.
mm,
One person could start. I mean, I have a saying, it only takes one person to turn a light switch on, and then everybody in the vicinity, they would benefit.
mm,
So your spouse would benefit, your children would benefit, your job would benefit, people who know you as friends would benefit, extended family. Just because the approach that you're taking is different. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect to get a different result. If the result is poor, it would continue to be poor. As they say, that's the definition of insanity. Another rant
mhm.
again from me, Shamin. Shamin, your lights now, you're looking like you're in the black. All I can see is your teeth.
I'm still tanned. I'm still tanned. I'm trying to make the most of it.
All I can see is your teeth.
Talking about, like, it suddenly got really dark here. I'm not even sure. It's not even going to rain, but yeah, the light was good. So
Okay.
I'll get the light put on in a sec. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know what your thoughts are on my big rant. So
Well, my thoughts are definitely okay. I'm getting the lights coming on right now. There you go. How's that?
Yes, yes. She's
Yeah,
back in the
okay.
room.
Yeah, back in the room.
Yeah.
You're jealous of my tan. That's what it is. You're jealous of my tan. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I totally agree with you on that, on a serious note. But it's a case of sometimes it's easier said than done.
True.
But me having gone through that walk, I said before, I know how the shoes pinch, where you have a certain amount, then you don't have that, and you're struggling to make ends meet, and you sometimes can't even find the end, and coming through the other side of it. So I understand there are struggles, but it always starts with being honest. It starts with you actually saying, I'm struggling.
Mm.
It comes to the point where you're saying, you know what, this cannot go on.
Yeah.
The expenditure is more than the income. What needs to change?
Yes.
And arguing and bickering with your partner, your loved one, it doesn't solve the situation. It doesn't change anything.
Makes matters worse.
It makes it worse. It does make it worse. So, yeah, I mean, it's not so much a rant, it's just literally talking and saying it as it is. Because one of the things I find really frustrating is that, yes, I'm a believer in Christ, but why my frustration is that we read, but we don't study the word of God.
Mm. Mm.
And as believers, we're not supposed to be struggling to make ends meet because it doesn't glorify the kingdom.
Mm.
And
Mm.
how can we say, well, yes, I'm paying A, B, and C to this particular charity. Meanwhile, I can only afford chicken and a boiler chicken at that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying they have to be on steak because it's too rich for the blood, but you should be able to have a decent, balanced meal.
Mm.
And one of the things that we find is that when you're on a limited budget, in particular, your diet does suffer, and you then it then becomes a vicious cycle because then your health is suffering because your diet isn't nutritious as it should be. You're eating the basics of stuff. And in
Mm.
saying that, I mean, sometimes, the next range up from the shop's basic, that's just full of salt and rubbish. Go the next step up. And
Yeah.
in fact, buy fresh food because you can actually do more with fresh produce rather than the ready-made, full of salt, full of additives and things that you don't even know what your stomach's trying to do.
Mm. Mm.
So you can actually make more and
Yeah.
stretch.
But you
So
know
for
what
me,
happens? Sorry, I was gonna say, you know what happens? Most of the time is as you say, it's a vicious cycle because they end up you sometimes you go so long without eating that by the time you rush for something to eat because your body's calling for it, you pick up
yeah,
the first unhealthy thing and put in your mouth.
yeah, yeah. And you think you're satisfied, but you haven't. You're actually making matters
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
So I think definitely being honest. Honesty is the best policy. It's
Yeah.
hard when you decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a step back, remove the emotion from it, and look at the practicalities. What can I do? What do I need to change? What habits do I need to readjust? What thinking do I have? Let me take responsibility for myself,
Mm.
do what needs to be done within me, make my changes, and then lead by example. Because
True.
then if your spouse sees that you're trying and you're making an effort, they may feel, oh, actually it's just for a time, then they'll go back to their old ways. But
Yeah.
if you see that consistency, they're less likely to be negatively judgmental, and they're not, oh gosh, I feel really bad, they're really trying, they're not doing what they used to do, at least let me try as well. And then the two of you start to see the necessary changes.
Mm. So what would be your recommendation for helping them to move from a place of doing one thing to something else
Mm.
and letting that last? So the change, for that change to stay in place for the rest of their life or keep improving.
I say definitely have an agreement. It's all about being agreed. How can two walk together unless they agree?
Mm, mm, mm.
It's like a three-legged race. One of your legs is tied to the other person. One cannot go to the left and the other one go to the right. It won't work. But I think when you come together and you have an agreement and
Mm.
you say, okay, for the next month, 3 months, 6 months, we're going to do A, B, and C. And you have a strategic plan. If there are 4 credit cards, say, well, okay, you know what? Let's reduce that 4 to 2. Let's then reduce that 2 to 1.
Mm.
Let's see if we can do without having it at all.
Mm.
Practical things like that.
Yeah.
And then say, well, okay, we've done that now. Right. Do we have an overdraft? Why do we have an overdraft? What is it that we're overspending? Okay, let's cut that overdraft. Have the agreement. Okay, do we spend money on shopping every week? Do we need to change our type of spending? So do we need to do every 2 weeks, every month? Do we buy in bulk? Do we come together with other couples and other families to say, well, okay, we can go to the cash and carry and buy things like toiletries and things that won't spoil,
Talk more about
that you
that
have.
actually, because that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So it's really something that I did when my children were much younger, and there were a group of us who were finding it as a struggle. So we agreed that okay, we would each pay into having the membership card, and at a particular time within the month, we would go and we would buy bulk of toilet paper, kitchen roll, black bags, cleaning, the to clean the bathroom and the kitchen, those sorts of things. And we had an agreement that okay, this is what we would spend. And so we all came together and then we split the packaging amongst us. Then we did, same group of people, we also did Billingsgate Market where we get the fresh fruit. We did the fish. We did the different things, getting up early and going to Smithfields. And what we actually did, we paid out and we bought bigger freezers. So we'd actually go, so it wasn't every month, it was literally when things ran down. So we would stock up. So we knew then that we didn't have to worry about particular items to have in the household. Because as women, we want to make sure that our family are fed. Conscious, I need to provide and I need to be able to cook something. What am I going to cook? What am I going to feed them? And so we had that. So that was one stress that was ticked off. So we did that. I'm saying if you don't have that network, but it's all about networking. It's all about coming together and say, you know what, let's help each other, because it takes a community. So if you become part of a community and you're saying, let's help each other, we're all in the same boat. There will come a time when we won't always be like this, but then it gets into a point, well, actually, this is actually working out.
Yeah.
And it's doing really well. So you come together as a unit. And you do these things. You then only have to worry about, well, if little Johnny needs those pair of trainers, you're not then saying, well, actually, I haven't got enough food in the fridge. You know you've got something in the freezer that you can still feed the family. And what you would have spent on female toiletries, you know you have that money then to spend on the pair of shoes that the child may need. So it's a less of a worry.
Yeah.
I mean, children, they don't stop growing. And when they have their growth spurts, you kind of say, oh my goodness, this fitted you yesterday, and now putting it on again, it's not there. So I know that struggle.
Yes.
So for me, it's coming together as a community of people, and looking at ways that you can help one another.
For people who know about partner and susu, similar to that. I mean, that's a really, really top tip that people could take. And if you don't have something like that going on in your area, you could be the change that you want to see. You encourage one or two of your friends. You don't have to go to strangers. Start off, even if it's you and somebody else, you and your mother, if you're living in two different households, start off like that. Just pooling money together so that you could get great quality stuff at the wholesale price. That's what we're talking about. That is something that anybody could start doing. Really, that is a super tip.
Definitely. I mean, I just get things like toothpaste and mouthwash, those kind of things, and they would last for at least 3 months.
Yeah.
Going into 6 months, because you would then know how to budget things, and then every so often you splash out and get like a case of drink of 7-Up or something like that for the children. So it's a little treat. Obviously you have to hide them, because when they see the pack, like, oh great, and they want to have 4 and 5 in one go. But you have these cases because children will do that. But it's having those things then, being able to do those things and coming together till eventually then you may not have to have the group of people. You say, well, actually, I just want to buy just for my household. But you're in that position where you've saved that money to clear maybe debts, to have other things so you're not worrying about, okay, oh my goodness, the washing up liquid is running out, and how am I going to wash the dishes? So things like that, it just takes the stresses off for a period of time. And you can be putting £4 or £5 aside over a period of time, so that when the time comes to do the budget bulk shop again,
Mm.
you've got the finances there.
Yes, yeah, that's so true. You touched on some of the things that people could buy. Can you just kind of we could
Mm,
elaborate on some things because some people wouldn't know where to start. So
mm,
as you said, toiletries, shampoo, there's things like shampoo.
yes. The
Yeah,
things that don't perish quickly.
exactly.
So, okay, you have children in the house, antiseptic cream, plasters, that kind of thing. I mean, there's always somebody tripping and doing something to themselves. Little plasters, to things that you use every day, toothpaste you use every day, shower wash or soap, shampoo, those things that you know you're going to be using.
Yeah.
They last for a certain amount of time, but what you don't want is, oh, I'm going to wash my hair,
Mm.
and then you squeeze it because somebody's used it all, and there's nothing in the jar. You have no spares.
Yeah.
So I'm all for having the spare.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to say
you know,
actually when my husband and I got married, we bought we went to one of those shops, it's called Macro, the one over here.
hmm yeah,
Bought
yeah.
a big bottle of dishwashing liquid and um we went in conjunction with somebody else and bought just like you said. Shami,
hmm
I'm not going to lie, that thing lasts us about 2.5 years. Dishwashing liquid
Yeah,
was
the
such a
giant size.
big,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like the it was like the oh
Industrial.
yeah.
Yes.
And so we kept pouring out into smaller bottles, but that
Yeah.
was like, whoa, I'd never done something like that before. No, I
Mm.
tell a lie. We had bought oil. My aunt had introduced us to buying oil like that some years
Oh yes.
before.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's really a good idea, a great idea.
hmm
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice. So,
So,
I mean, now let's kind of we're going to we have about 8 more minutes.
mm,
I think we should start
mm,
just sharing with people a little bit more about the My Honey and Money event for anybody who
mm.
is in the UK and can attend. Plus, to tell everybody out there what we'll be doing for after the event, that might be of interest to them if they couldn't make it. So, you want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, my schedule is quite tight. I mean, it's amazing. I've given up full-time work to be even busier now. It's just mad. But I would offer 2 free sessions, at least 45 minutes sessions to talk people through things and just to help them get some clarity
Yeah.
on where they're at.
Mm.
Um, I can't offer anything other than that at this moment in time because as I said, my schedule is quite full. So I have slots,
Yeah.
2 slots to literally give people a 45 minutes just to kind of unpick and
Mm.
help them to kind of get some clarity
Mm.
to
Mm.
where they're going.
Yeah.
So
True. I mean,
that would be for
the
after.
event, as we say, that we're talking about is the My Honey and Money Marriage Seminar coming up on the 9th of July, which is this Saturday, and from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the beautiful London Intercontinental
Mm,
Hotel, the O2. And one thing that we plan to do that we didn't think about before until people started asking, especially people in the States, are you all going to record the event? Are you going to? So we've
mm,
decided we're going to record the event and make it available to people for after the seminar is over. And we plan to do something special for people who are interested in getting it before the product is done. So I'll take the time now just to, well, in fact, let me tell you more about the seminar and then
mhm,
I'll tell you about what we plan to do for people. Hold on, that's my computer with some kind of notification.
mm,
So on the day of the event, we are expecting to have, I know we'll have a lot of fun because we've planned it so that it's not just us speaking to you. It's going to be very interactive and people will have the chance to open up and share things. First, we'll do it as a whole group, but at a certain time during the day, we'll give people the chance to split into groups of two. I'm not going to tell you what the criteria is for the split yet, but we know that the way it would be done, it would cause people to be able to open up and to just share more personally at that stage if they're not happy talking in the larger group. Although I'm saying, even though I'm saying large group, we have on purpose, we've made this a more intimate group, a more intimate setting. We didn't want to have a 1,000-person event. We wanted to make sure that it's a cozy amount of people who could take in the content. We could be real with you and you be real with us, because at the end of the day, what we want to happen is that when we finish talking to you on the day, you don't leave with what, you leave with what to do and how to do it. We're going to give you practical steps that could help you to take your relationship from average to amazing. And I am super excited about it. And I know, Charmaine, you are as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. It's going to be a good day out. You know, at first I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is a day. Do we really need a day? This is going to be too much. A half a morning would be. But actually, I'm looking and thinking, actually, there's a lot of content
Mm,
for what we're giving. And I mean, for me, I've had to condense it down to say, well, actually, I could take that bit out and put that. That's for another time.
yeah,
But I'm excited to be able to share with people and to help people move from where they are to where they desire to be.
yes,
And so, you know, for me, rebound finance is about getting back, going back to where you intended to be. And it's all about people improving relationships and taking the stresses out of life. And money is one of those stresses.
yeah, yeah. And the nice thing about the term rebound is every time you think about it, what happens after you hit is really going up.
Hmm.
And that's what this sort of seminar would do for you. It's really an intensive event. So don't expect to just hear shallow stuff, as I said. We're going to go deep into stuff. So we're choosing a few nuggets that we know. These things, it might seem simple, but you have to really get a deep understanding of what to do, why it's important, how to go about doing it, and also to prepare you for if your spouse is not as excited as you about the things that you're interested in doing in the first place. Now, we're hoping that husbands and wives will come, but you know what happens. We've heard it. The event is close by, and we know a lot more wives are coming without their spouse. One, because he said he's working. Some say she's the one that needs the help, not me, which is really sad because at the end of the day, as I say to people, marriage is the only thing that you signed up and you're saying until death us do part. You give birth, you have your children with you for 18 years, maybe 25, or some children stay for life. But it's really,
Not my portion. That's not my portion.
as the Africans say, over the head.
It's over the head.
Yeah. But listen, people, bottom line, when you think of your relationship, are you happy to share with people about being married? When people hear you talk about your marriage, is it an exciting thing, or do you join the bandwagon of, well, we have problems just like everybody else? Or, just pray for us because we're going through some tough times. Tough times should be faced together. Tough times in marriage should not, ideally, I'm talking about, I know things happen, but ideally, it shouldn't be two people fighting against each other. It is so frustrating to be a spouse. I know I've been there when you feel as though all that you're putting out is not being valued, or you all decide you're doing something, and then before you know it, you get back to square one. Or as we've been talking about for this whole time, you spend a long time trying to put things together financially, only to realize that you haven't made any progress because you all were not on the same page. We want to help you to get past that. We want to help you to live a life that you are proud to say, I have been married for X amount of years, X amount of weeks, X amount of months, and that it would get better. Your marriage should be like fine wine, not like molded bread
Mm,
or bread that is left out. It
mm,
could get better with time. I know. I am much more in love and happier in my relationship with my spouse today than I was when we got married. And when we got married, we were happy. But I'm telling you now, okay, maybe you can't see it. Let me,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. It's the truth. So, yeah, I'm just saying that to say that,
Yeah.
listen, marriage is a good thing when done properly, when
Yeah.
done with knowledge, when done with support, it's a great thing. You could suffer alone. Charmaine, you want to add
Yeah.
anything before we go into price and those sort of things?
Yeah. Andrew Carnegie said it's no use whatever helping somebody who won't help themselves. So
Preach.
this is part of you helping yourself. Um, because we're here to help you, but you have to want that help. You have to see the need. And even if it's not for yourself, because we all can point the finger at somebody, oh yeah, that person needs it. But remember, when you're pointing one finger, there are three pointing back at you. So you need the help just as much, if not more, than the
Mm.
person you're pointing at.
So,
So, you know, swallow that pride, throw it out the window, whatever you need to do with that pride, and just come along and get help.
yeah,
Because we're as a community, we're coming from a point of view that we have walked the walk.
yes.
Norva has been in a relationship that wasn't one that anybody would want,
Mm.
and she's now turned the corner. I've
Mm.
turned the corner also. We're here to help you, and we're saying actually, you do not have to suffer in silence or in vain.
Yes, yeah, so true, so true. Especially when you have children that are dependent on you. You want to
Mm-hmm.
leave a legacy for your children that you would be proud of. You understand that
Mm-hmm.
if you think of your mother and father, whether they're alive or not, you want for them to hear them saying, "Well done,"
Mm-hmm.
not saying, "Oh, how can I help? How
Yeah.
can I help?" And of course, parents would help, but we have to really try to get to a stage where we're making positive progress, and we only make positive progress with the entrance of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
new knowledge. And the way you get that is by investing time, investing money, taking action in the things that you want to see improve. So if you want to see your relationship improve, you have to invest the time. You have to invest some money. You have to take action. So having said that, the event itself on Saturday, as you know, it's been splashed all over social media and stuff for a while, been in the radio. So people are familiar with the price. The price to attend the event is £197. £197 sounds like a lot, but let's look at it in the grand scheme of things.
It's
People
48
spend,
pound 50 each.
yes, true. And that is, Shaman is right. That is per couple. That price is per couple. But people spend that same price, half of that, on a wig. A woman will spend £120 for a good
Mm-hmm.
wig to look good, to keep up with the Joneses. A man will spend that and more on a watch, on a shoe. And then at the end of the day, you know you're unhappy and you're frustrated in your relationship. It's sad, but that's the reality of what happens. And we're trying to tell you, if you want to have the relationship that you're proud of, you need to do something different. So for those who we know you can't make it because one, you're not living in the country, then in the UK, you can't make it for sure unless you're willing to fly in. And then for those who are over here and you still think, oh, that sounds really like a stretch that I can't make at this point in time, but I want to invest in myself. I want to invest in moving forward. So if you cannot make it on the day, this is what we plan to do. We are going to be recording the My Honey and Money Marriage Seminar and making it available to people. Now, from the time the recording itself has been edited and it's ready, it will be available in digital form, and you'll get the handouts and stuff that comes, that people at the event will be getting the paper form. You would see a digital version of that. From the time that is ready, the price for it would be £97. Yes, £97. Steal of a deal, you have it for the rest of your life. You could go over the content over and over as much as you want. And I know that it would benefit you and your household for not just a month, but for the rest of your life. but we want to do something special for anybody who is interested in pre-ordering up to, as I said, when it comes out. And for anybody who's interested in doing that, we are willing to offer it to you for £47. Am I right, Shamin? 47?
Yes. Yeah.
£47. And you're getting the same content like everybody else. You get it a little later than them. But as I said, you could go over it over and over, press pause. You like something, you write things down, you go at your own pace. And I'm telling you, it would be money well spent. Now, if you're interested in getting that, then I'll encourage you to go to PayPal. So that is www.paypal.me/Norva, Norva. What do you say it in those things? It's Nancy,
No,
Oscar, Romeo, Victor, Alpha,
that's
forward
the one.
slash forward slash 47. And then when you go into it, so when you click the button for that, you have to choose GBP. I think it looks like Great Britain
Mm,
pounds.
mm,
And once we see your stuff coming before the date, then we would honor that and make sure that it's sent to you. And we might even throw in a few bonuses as well. What do you think, Shami?
mhm. Yeah, we've got surprises. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast. We put this together at the show on short notice, but I think the content that was shared is really powerful. You could go away with just this content and start to see huge changes in your life and your relationship, because that's what moves us. What moves
Mhm,
Charmaine is to see people move forward in their finances. What moves me is to see people move forward in their relationship. Hence why we teamed up, because we know when it comes to relationship, finance is a big thing. So
mm.
Charmaine, you want to say anything else before we say goodbye to
Come,
you?
come along. Be blessed. Be inspired. Be encouraged. Be challenged. Yeah, we're going to be real. We're going to be real with the whole situation. So come along. Take the
I
time out.
didn't I didn't even think, let me just double check to make sure that nobody left a message, question or anything like that. So Charmaine, you could say a little bit more while I'm just checking that.
Okay, check on that. So yeah, so listen, folks, we've put this thing together. It's something that we started at the beginning of the year. We've been working on it. Nova's been working on it tirelessly. Um, while I was off jetting off here, there, and everywhere in different parts of the world. But I was able to do that because I had put aside the necessary finances,
Exactly.
and I was able to pay for these things without using credit card, without taking out an extra job. These are things that were planned, and I was able to go away and come back and not owe anybody any money. So let me share with you those strategies. Let Nova share with you the strategies for an improved relationship, an improved marriage, because a happy wife is a happy life. Is that not the case?
100%.
So, guys,
100%.
you know, keep the woman happy, ladies. If you're happy, he'll be happy.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of being at a wedding in Jamaica last week. And basically, she was saying during the she said, "Oh, do I have to do the obey section?" And they laughed. And I said to her, "Actually, if he loves you the way he's supposed to love you, obeying him is not going to be a problem." And so, if you're together, I said the same friendship that you have and you've had for X number of years, and you're coming together now as a couple, it should only improve from here on. And so, what I'm saying to all of you, come. If you can't come, order the audio. You will be blessed. It's not quite the same as getting the atmosphere of being in the room. However, we'll try and make it as lively as possible. There will be PowerPoints, there will be handouts, there will be exercises and things to do. We've packed a lot. There are giveaways, there are prizes. We've put a lot into this. And Nova has been over and above. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that as well. But she's really thought of it, and literally gone over and above. So, folks, come, be blessed, be inspired, be challenged. You
Thank you
won't
so much,
be
guys.
sorry.
And Charmaine, thank you so much for I mean, stepping into this fire with me and force to move forward. And I know for sure that the content that you would bring, the content that people would hear on the day, would truly impact their lives. So, guys, we're signing out. We want to say thank you so much for listening. And even if you're looking at it live or you're catching the replay, well, you still have time to invest in. If you can't invest in coming on the day, you could invest in the product that would be made so that you could get the information and use it. And so we look forward to talking to you all again soon another time. Bye bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye. Bye.